Good evening and welcome. This is Africa Focus on KOW TV, where we bring you the stories shaping the African narrative. I am your host, Maurice Mbugua. Tonight, we lead with a staggering 24-day milestone in a conflict that is redefining global power. The world woke up to a digital bombshell when President Donald Trump announced a 5-day pause in military strikes against Iran. In an all-caps declaration, the US president claimed that very good and productive conversations had taken place, leading him to postpone hits on Iranian power plants. However, this diplomatic victory lap was short-lived. Within hours, Iran's foreign ministry flatly denied the existence of any dialogue, with parliament speakers labeling the announcements as fake news intended to manipulate the oil market. But as is often the case in this war, the truth reportedly lies in the shadows. While both sides publicly claim to be winning, a secret diplomatic channel is allegedly being carved out in Islamabad. High-level sources suggest that Pakistan's army chief may be coordinating with the US envoys for a potential face-to-face meeting with Iranian officials as early as this week. The stakes could not be higher. The International Energy Agency has now officially labeled this the greatest energy threat in human history, surpassing the oil shocks of the 1970s. Nearly 20 million barrels of crude oil are currently disrupted, and even though US Central Command claims the Strait of Hormuz is physically open, shipping companies simply refuse to run the risk of Iranian missiles. The market reaction was instantaneous. Brent crude, which had soared to $114, plummeted 8% in minutes following the news of the pause, settling near $99. Yet this is not a celebration of peace, it is a market pricing in the possibility of a ceasefire. On the ground, the pause appears to be a strictly American affair. While the US held its fire, Israel reportedly launched an extensive wave of strikes on Iran Monday morning, targeting weapons production sites. On the offensive, Iran's proxies continued their assault, with the UAE reportedly intercepting 7 ballistic missiles on the same day. As the human toll surpasses 1,000 civilians killed in Iran and 1 million displaced in Lebanon, the gap between the two sides remains wide. Iran demands full financial compensation for damages, while the US insists on a total end to Iran's nuclear and ballistic programs. As we enter this 5-day window, the world is holding its breath to see if the Islamabad talks are a genuine off-ramp or merely a brief silence before a much louder storm. As the global energy crisis tightens its grip, a more immediate and localized tragedy is unfolding across the East African landscape. Torrential rains and flash floods have claimed the lives of at least 81 people across Kenya this month, with authorities warning that the worst may be yet to come. In Kisumu County, the scene is one of total devastation. Entire villages have been swallowed by rising waters, and over 1,200 hectares of vital farmland have been swept away. The epicenter of the crisis is Nyakach, where the Sondu Miriu River burst its banks, displacing more families. Now, local leaders report a massive loss of crops and livestock due to erosion, forcing residents into overcrowded evacuation centers. For many, there is simply nowhere left to go. Residents in the affected areas have described the heartbreaking struggle of trying to find shelter for children and animals while surrounded by rising waters. In the capital, Nairobi, the death toll has reached 37 as infrastructure buckles under the weight of the downpour. From landslides to submerged vehicles, the damage to property and livelihoods is immense. Scientists are now issuing a stark warning. Climate change is no longer a future threat but a present reality, intensifying these extreme cycles of flood and drought across East Africa. With more rain forecast for the coming days, officials are urging extreme caution for those living in low-lying areas as the region grapples with a weather pattern that is becoming increasingly unpredictable and deadly. In a striking contrast to the regional instability, the Republic of Somaliland is taking a bold and decisive step to secure its economic future through a major anti-corruption offensive. In Hargeisa, the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Honorable Abdullahi Hassan Aden, officially launched a high-level workshop designed to put World Bank-funded projects under strict new financial watch. This is an analysis of a nation that understands that international recognition is built on the foundation of domestic trust and transparency. The initiative represents a landmark effort to fortify Somaliland's good governance system by bringing together the Auditor General, the Good Governance Commission, and 10 Director Generals from various ministries. The government of Somaliland is giving a signal that business as usual is over. The program focuses on advanced financial monitoring and the early detection of administrative irregularities. What makes this drive noteworthy is its two-phase structure. While the initial training is happening in Hargeisa, the second, more advanced phase is scheduled for Nairobi. This move allows Somaliland's financial stewards to engage in international peer exchange and adopt global best practices. This is more than just a workshop. It is a strategic message to the world and to donors. In a region where development funds are often lost to mismanagement, Somaliland is positioning itself as a rare model of accountability. By tightening the supervision of internationally financed initiatives, the government aims to ensure that every dollar delivers maximum impact for its citizens. As Somaliland continues to navigate its path toward full formal recognition, this strong commitment to clean public financial management serves as a powerful testament to its state-building success. It proves that despite the challenges of the Horn of Africa, a culture of transparency is not just possible, it is being actively built in Somaliland. And finally, we turn to Nigeria, where a private sector giant is stepping in to fill the void left by the global energy crisis. The Dangote mega refinery has reportedly begun exporting fuel to other African nations, providing a critical safety net as the Middle East war continues to choke global supply lines. With the Strait of Hormuz effectively paralyzed, Nigeria's industrial powerhouse announced late Sunday that it has already sold 12 cargoes, summing up to nearly 500,000 tons of fuel to neighbors including Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Ghana, and Tanzania. The 650,000 barrel per day facility near Lagos was originally intended to end Nigeria's own fuel shortages, but the spokesperson confirmed that the Middle East conflict has driven an explosion in demand from across the continent. There is even reports of a surge in orders for jet fuel from markets beyond Africa. Now, this move is expected to significantly enhance energy security across West, East, and Central Africa at a time when petrol prices in Lagos have surged to over 1,300 naira per litre. Before the Dangote refinery opened last year, Nigeria was forced to import almost all its fuel, leaving the country vulnerable to every global shock. Now, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, is using this massive capacity to stabilize not just the Nigerian market, but the broader regional economy. While the refinery had initially pledged to prioritize domestic needs, its emergence as a continental exporter marks a turning point in African energy independence. As the war in the Gulf makes global oil deliveries increasingly unreliable, the sight of Nigerian refined fuel moving across the continent is a powerful sign of Africa finding its own solutions to a global crisis. And that's all from our news desk here on Africa Focus. As the 5-day pause begins and the rails of regional trade continue to move, we will be here to bring you the perspective that matters. Thank you for joining us on Africa Focus. My name is Maurice Mbugua.